I think the idea for Cool Water came from the character Lee. The combination of the character Lee and the landscape, the sand hills, the idea of sand shifting and representing change in a time of big changes in Saskatchewan. The town of Juliette is in a rural area, about 3 hours from the city where I live. I was also thinking about the idea of the exotic. It's hard to explain, but I have an old book of old photographs of deserts. I have old hand-colored photographs of deserts. And when I saw the sandhills, I was thinking about, would these be exotic to somebody else? Or in Saskatchewan, do we take the kind of the exotic beauty of our landscape for granted? So I was thinking about that as well. And the idea of a rural area like that being at a distance from the cities. So the contrast, I guess, between the city and the rural area, because the cities are drawing young people away from the rural areas. I think that Cool Water probably would fit into that world, I guess, of natural writing. The landscape is almost a character in the novel, and it was hard for me when I was writing it to put a boundary on that landscape the way you would on a character, because it's so big and it's so vast. So I was very happy when I came up with the idea of the race, the horse race, because it provided the geographical boundary and the circle in which the novel is set and in which the characters live. And then I was really happy with that because you get the idea of cycles and time and layers of time, for me, through the circle. Because that was one of the things that I wanted to write about also, is how time changes ownership. So when people settled in Saskatchewan, they were often people whose families did not own land. They came there because they could own land. And then 100 years later, that everything's changing again. So the circle became a really important motif. Circles in the landscape and the environment, but also in history and in people's daily lives.